I have been following Professor Nick Bloom, who is an authority. He's an economist from Stanford, and he's quite an authority in terms of research on remote and hybrid work. And I happened to listen to one of his interviews he did with McKinsey. So he talked about something called organized hybrid, right? And organized hybrid is, yes, sometime at home, sometime at work, in office. But what does organized hybrid mean? Organized hybrid means that when everybody, so we decide that these are the days we all will be at work, and these are the days we all will be working from home. And I think this is the best compromise you can come to when it comes to giving people the flexibility, yet maintaining that ability to drive belonging and connection. Because I can say from experience, Karthik, that it takes a lot of effort from leaders to really keep that belonging and connection going in a fully remote world. The Great Resignation, if you talk about, it was a bit of a wrong data point at the time of the pandemic, because it was a wrong term to use, that it wasn't really an upsurge in resignation that we saw only during the pandemic. If you study the data from 2012, resignations have constantly been rising. It's literally a straight line. But what really exacerbated that sense of disengagement was this lack of belonging and connection. And that's the delta that created that additional delta on engagement. So yeah, because everybody has become all about work. It's only work. They're very good at what they are doing. Probably people, in terms of work, the productivity has gone up. But there are other diminishers to productivity, which we are not looking at.
See, it's like this. If you look at the data on what people want, this is a Gallup again. It's very clear. 70% of the people want hybrid. It's not to say they want hybrid. It's like a significant percentage is from home and a small percentage at work. That's not what they mean. They like the flexibility. They like to be offered that latitude of being able to work from home. 20% say, I only want to work from the office. And 10% are very clear, I only want to work remote. How do you go about it? And I think what you spoke about referring to this particular economist, bringing a little bit of structure, right?
Yes.
A structured strategy to hybrid work makes a lot of common sense to me, because an organization is intrinsically a structured entity. So structure is important both for the organization, and I think it's also important for the individual.
I think the underlying idea behind providing that structure is a way, it's a strategy to get to something. Structure is a proxy for strategy here, and what is it that we are getting at? We are getting at bringing people together. We want them to have belonging and connection. Hence, what I talked about, that organized hybrid, where everybody comes into work the same day, and we try to find as much time as possible for work that we want to do collaboratively, rather than people coming in and then getting into their meeting rooms and doing Zoom calls again.
In fact, to build on this, we also need to get real, right? This hybrid work from home definitely applies to certain kinds of domains.
Correct.
Certain kinds of skills, certain kinds of tasks. See, if you're a surgeon, if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, a healthcare worker, if you're an air traffic controller, a pilot, I can just keep going on. It's not an option.
Yes.
Right? I just cannot, take off that plane, zooming from my Bansa house, right? It simply doesn't cut it, right? In industries where confidentiality is super critical, if you're working in the Federal Reserve Bank or something, if you are, then you've got challenges there. You can't just work from home. So it applies in certain industries, tasks, but
Yeah.
in many industries, it just does not even apply.